Hey guys, how's it going? Today I just wanted to take you through some ideas, chordal ideas in the key of E, learning to play some different chords and things, especially for particular songs like some worship songs that I'll teach you later, like Here I Am to Worship and Open the Eyes of My Heart. So let me just give you some practical ideas on the acoustic guitar, how you can make worship songs like that sound a lot nicer and a lot sweeter. So let's jump into it. Key of E. This is your standard E chord, yeah? Okay, that's how you would normally play an E chord. However, when you're playing some of these songs, there's a much nicer, more open ringing kind of sounding E chord that you can play. And it's based off an E bar chord on the 7th fret. So if you go up here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, alright, 5th string is your root note there. That's actually an E right there. And this is the A-shaped bar chord, or some people play it like that. I play it with all those fingers. Okay, that's your A-shaped bar chord. Now, instead of playing the whole thing like that, which is a little bit difficult, just leave this, your bottom E string ringing open, and then put your index finger on the 7th fret, 5th string, and your ring finger and pinky on the, the 9th fret right there. And which is basically the top part of that chord with the open E string there. Just grab the top part of that chord, change your fingers around. Okay, and you've got this. Alright, there we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7th fret. Your index finger goes here. 1, 2, 3. And now the tricky thing here is to, again, keep these top 2 strings ringing open, as well as the bottom E string. Okay? So the only strings that you're actually fretting with your fingers is that, and that. And these ones are open. So you get a really nice open ringing sounding E. Sounding chord. So that is a really nice way to play a lot of songs in the key of E. You can use that open sounding E chord, and the trick is you've got to drop your wrist down a little bit and arch, if you can see that, drop your wrist down and arch your index finger over and your hand over a little bit, so that you can get those top 2 strings ringing out clearly. Otherwise, if you get lazy and kind of put your wrist down, you're going to mute those strings. Okay? So learn to drop your wrist and arch your fingers a little bit, and you can get all of those strings ringing open. Okay? So that's an E. Now, often if we're in that key, I'll play E like that, depending on the song, of course. Sometimes it sounds better to play E down here and get that lower sound, but often it sounds nice up here, get that open ringing sound. Often in the key of E we have the A chord as well. So instead of playing a full A like that, I showed last time, play the A2. Okay, just take that ring finger off and you've got that, A2. And then again, often in E we have the B chord. Now normally the B chord would be a bar chord right here. A-shaped bar chord, that's A, slide it up and bar it, and you've got a B with your root note, the B note being right here. Okay? Which is, again, a difficult chord to play, especially when you're beginning. So a much nicer way to play that, and an open ringing kind of a way to play that, is, as with the other chords, as with the E chord, it's actually the same shape. Just grab the top part. So index finger here, 2nd fret, 5th string, and your ring finger, pinky there, and again leave the bottom two open. Now the tricky thing with this is you don't really want that E string ringing in there because it's a B chord and you want to hear the B bass note, not the E in the bass, okay? So what I do to combat that is with my middle finger, I just touch it, I don't push it down, I just touch it with my middle finger, and that will mute it. Okay, so you're not going to hear that ringing, you just hear the full B ringing right there, okay? So, that's an open style B chord. It's again, it's a bit of a cheap B, but it sounds really nice. Okay, again, drop your wrist, arch your fingers over, open up that B, and now if you slide that shape up 2 frets, slide the same shape up to there, up to your index finger being on the 4th fret. This is like a cheap C minor, okay, or C minor 7. Again, here we go, just so you can see it. That's on the index on the 4th fret, ring, pinky on the 6th fret. These two open, and again, you don't really want that E string ringing this time because it's not an E chord. You want the C sharp sounding here. Okay, so again, mute that top string with your ring finger there. Just touch it. Don't press it down. Just touch it and mute it. And okay, so here's what you've got. If you're playing an E, play the E up here. Index finger on the 7th fret. Everything open. I mean, these 3 strings open. Okay, and then A, you can slide it down. You don't even have to move these 2 fingers. Just slide them down, and you can play the A2 like that. And then you can play a B. Slide those 2 fingers up 2 frets, and put your index finger there on the B note, and mute that top string. Bottom string, I should say, sorry. That's a kind of a B, a cheap B, but it sounds nice. And then slide that whole shape up, 2, and you've got your C sharp minor there. Okay, so there's some common chords that you can play that sound really nice in the key of E. I play them all the time, especially when songs are in the key of E, on acoustic guitar, also on electric guitar, just okay, C sharp minor, B, A2, E. Very handy way to play in the key of E. So let me take you through some ideas of some songs that use that kind of idea. So Open the Eyes of My Heart, an oldie but a goodie. In the key of E. So play that key up, that E up there. Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Open the eyes. Now, I'll get back to this. Hang on, let me just show you. Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Open the eyes of my heart. I want to see. I want to see. Now that's E, that's that high E that I was talking about, with these open strings ringing. The next note is one of those altered bass note chords. Now, you could play a standard B. Open the eyes of my heart. So you could play, Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Slide it down here, which is that B that I showed you. Now the cool thing is, same shape. So you don't have to take your fingers off and grab a whole new shape. Just keep your fingers on there. Release the pressure and slide them down to your index finger being on the 2nd fret, and you've got a B. Open the eyes of my heart, I want to slide them up 2, and you've got the C sharp minor shape. See you. Slide them down and keep these 2 fingers on to open, and that's an A2. And then you can grab this E because it's the most convenient at the time. See you. Okay? So as much as possible when playing guitar, try to keep if you can, keep consistency of your fingers. They call it economy of movement or something fancy like that, which basically means that you want to do the least moving around as possible with your fingers. Okay, so if I don't have to change those fingers, then don't take your hand off. Okay, keep them there. Slide it down to a B. Open the eyes of my heart. Slide it up to a C sharp minor shape. C. Slide it down, rather than changing those fingers around again. Slide the same shape down like that. I want it back to E. Okay, so that's how I'd play that song, Open the Eyes of My Heart. Open the eyes of my heart, I want to see you, I want to see you. And then suspended, which we talked about last time, okay? Alright, so that's one way to play it. Now, in this song, there is actually, the second chord is not a straight B chord, it's actually a B/D sharp, okay? So instead of playing your B, what you got to try and do is get a B chord and put a D sharp in it. Now your D sharp, there's a D here, so D sharp would be one step up. So what you can do, you could play this. Okay, that would be a B/D sharp. Or an open way of playing it would also be this. Okay, so here's your B. So you've got to change the B note to a D sharp. Okay, so keep these two fingers, these two notes the same, just change your fingers, and your D sharp is right here. Okay, can you see that? That's a B. But you've got to change the B to a D sharp, so your D sharp's here. Okay, change those fingers around, keep that open ringing sound. That's one way to play it. You can play it like that. Okay, but another really nice way to play it, which is what I do, and you don't have to do so much moving around with the fingers, is right here. Open the eyes of my heart. And then drop it down, there's your D sharp, and take your pinky off and put your middle finger, third string, what's that, 8th fret. You could even keep your pinky on there, it doesn't really matter so much, but I like that chord. So, open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Open the eyes. Hear that? Really beautiful sound. Open the eyes of my heart. Bit tricky to grab, but it sounds great. Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Open the eyes of my heart. C sharp minor. So there's some ideas in the key of E, especially for Open the Eyes of My Heart. My next video, I'll show you some similar ideas for the song Here I Am to Worship. So see you soon.